What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome back to Chris on the mic. Today's discussion is going to be a short discussion, but I felt like it was a needed discussion. As we all know, later on this year, we're going to have the new James Bond movie, Spectre, coming out, which looks awesome. Daniel Craig and everybody looks awesome in it. Looks like it's going to be a great movie. I believe Daniel Craig said it'll be his last time out as Bond, and I think he's about to go out on top with this film. But recently, one of the newer authors to the James Bond novels, Anthony Horowitz, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, said something today that kind of irked me. And what he stated was that they was interviewing him through the Daily Mail. He has a new novel coming out called Trigger Mortis. And he stated that while Idris Elba, who is a well-known well-known black actor, English black actor. And, if you've seen him in the Thor films, you've also probably seen him in some, in the film Mandela, which he was phenomenal in. And I saw this comment which Anthony Horowitz stated that, and I quote, Idris Elba is a terrific actor, but I could think of other black actors who would be better. For me, Idris Elba is a bit too rough to play the part. Okay. All right. I read that. I was like, okay, maybe he felt like maybe he was a little too not suave enough. All right. Even then, I was like, okay, that's a decent critique. If you feel like other African American actors or black actors could handle this role, then feel free. That's your opinion. I have no problem with that. Then he went on to say this: it's not a color issue. I think he's probably a bit too street for Bond. Is it a question of being suave? Yeah. Unquote. So when I heard that, I was like, he should have stopped right when he said he was a bit too rough to play the part. I would have not taken it as far as a racial issue with that. And to follow that up with, okay, it's not a color issue, and then say he's a bit too street, it's a contradictory statement. I felt that it was unnecessary to actually say that. Horowitz, of course, because this comment was blasted everywhere throughout the social media stratosphere, and he released a comment stating, I'm really sorry about my comments towards Idris Elba and the cause defense they might have had. That wasn't my intention. I was asked in my interview if Idris Elba would make a good James Bond. In the article, I expressed the opinion that in my mind, Adrian Lester would be a better choice. But I'm a writer, not a casting director, so what do I know? Clumsily, I chose the word street as Elba's gritty portrayal of DCI John Luther was in my mind, but I admit it was a poor choice of words. I am mortified to have caused that offense. Well respected, nice statement they put out on Twitter, via Twitter and social media to apologize for it. Anthony Horowitz is not a racist by any means necessary. From what I've heard, his new upcoming 007 novel is going to be pretty good, Trigger Mortis. I have no ill will to that gentleman, but it's just the statement that he made showed without a shadow of a doubt his mind state at the time and the way he thought about it. Whether I don't believe he's racist at all. I believe he just made an opinion and he said the wrong choice of words. But at the same time, even though when a person says an opinion makes the wrong choice of words, those words still ring true to somewhat of your beliefs of a character. Now, granted, there's been some people saying, oh, there should be a black Bond, there should be a homosexual Bond. Quite frankly, I don't care as long as the essence of the character really is still there. I think I don't care who plays Bond. I don't care if you have Hugh Jackman play Bond. I don't care if you have a female Bond. If you feel like it's a new Bond and as a result the character is still in the essence of that character that the legendary Ian Fleming, when he created it back in 1953, then I'm cool with that, as long as the essence is still there. And I do think Idris Elba could play a fantastic James Bond. Give him the chance, he could do it. That's the thing. A lot of African American actors or black actors in general do not have that chance to show, hey, we're not what you see in majority of the roles that we are unfortunately casted in. I believe this man is a great actor. I believe this man. Look at Mandela. Look at his catalog. Look at the stuff that he was in. Pacific Rim. Even the little small role he had in what's that film? Prometheus. There you go. He stands out in almost every role that he's in. He's a person that you always look out for. Even in Thor, he still scenes in that movie. So I'm just saying that I think, unfortunately, that is the first thing that comes to mind when people are looking at their quote-unquote favorite characters who happen to be white. And that's what James Bond's character was cast as when Ian Fleming made the character. He was a white British male, who was very suave and dapper, and was always, could kick your ass and fix his tie at the same time. Fix his tie at the same time. And I have no problem with that. And like it's like saying, like, when people say, hey, look, I prefer Superman to be Caucasian, I don't get mad at that. I don't project, saying, no, why can't he be African? Hey, what's wrong with being a black Superman? I never do that. There are some characters that within the minds of all races are specific, or a specific ethnicity, and I have no problem with that. It's just that when you go on to describe why, and you unfortunately use a term that just stings when somebody says, hey, you can't, I don't believe this guy could do it. I mean, he's good at what he does, but he's a little too street for that. And I think this character needs to be quote unquote less street. So like what the way we unfortunately take that due to years and decades of being blackballed and held back within this industry and other like unfortunate occupational titles. We take that as, okay, it's not that he's too street, it's that he's a little too African American or black. So that's what I saw it, Idris Elba, from what I've seen from his roles and interviews, or from what I've seen of him, I don't know the man personally, but he seems like a very, well presented gentleman. He seems like a James Bond. I'm pretty sure if Idris Elba was no offense, a Caucasian, there would have not that comment would have not been put in there. It would have not. He probably would have said, "Oh, maybe he's not good for the role," but he would have not added, "Oh, he's a little too street." But overall, I just wanted to get that out there. I just hope that we get closer to the point where we, as black actors or directors or whatever in any occupation, could go out there and when people deny us the opportunity, at least it's saying this guy was better because he outperformed this gentleman. Okay, I could take that. I could take not getting a job. I could take not being considered. If another person outperformed me, I got to do better. But if I get the same grade as that person, and then the question is, okay, he can't get this because even though I think he's slightly a better actor, he just doesn't look. He looks too street. Or he looks too ghetto, or he looks too rugged, he looks too hardcore, even though he's done roles outside of that, he just looks too much like that, and I don't think people will perceive him well. If you have that, keep it to yourself. You have to know when to open and close your mouth, especially when you're talking to the media, because they're gonna blow it out of proportion. But other than that, Anthony Horowitz, I know you didn't mean anything like bad by it. I understand that, but just future cases, stop while you're ahead. Somebody says, why can't this man do it? Just say, hey, Idris Elba's a pretty terrific actor, but I think there are other African American or black actors that could do better than him in this specific role. And then name those actors and then leave it at that. Don't go too far describing it, because sometimes you're going to get yourself to the point where you say something that you probably didn't really mean to say, or that you probably meant to say but not out loud. Okay? But all in all, he did say that Adrian Lester would be a good a good part for the role if they was to do it. And Adrian Lester's a good actor. If you look at the British series Hustle, he's pretty good. So but at the same time, I hope if they ever do an African or black actor as James Bond, I hope that he is received better than maybe Michael B. Jordan or some people were perceived when they decided to change the ethnicity of a specific character. Especially, when I think it's more of the core and more of the spirit of the character, but all in all, hey, I can't wait till Spectre comes out this year. So be on the lookout for Spectre. Spectre hits theaters November 6th, 2015. All right. This is Chris on the mic signing off. Remember, everybody, y'all got a voice. Make sure y'all's is heard. 1.